collectors, and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at Leader Class Megatron from the Transformers Studio series from Hasbro, of course based on his appearance in the 1986 animated classic Transformers the movie. I think it's really kind of funny how small he looks in the box. I really don't think the figure is going to be that small, but this is just a really large box and he just looks kind of comically tiny in there. But some really nice artwork of the robot mode and the tank mode here on the front. Yes, of course, he is a tank. He's not a gun. They can't do that anymore. Get all that out of your system. I still think this figure looks phenomenal. I'm so excited for this. Nice artwork of the robot mode here on the side. Over here you have the picture kind of continuing on, which I think looks kind of cool. Don't know why it has a giant Autobot symbol. I feel like they could figure that part out. But anyway, it says Megatron there on the top. Not really anything going on the bottom. And spinning it around to the back, have kind of a cool little still from the movie. And then we have some nice product shots of the robot mode and the vehicle mode. Even comes with a little version of himself here in gun mode, which I think is really cool, so that someone else can, you can pretend he transformed into that and have one of the other figures hold him, which I think is a nice little touch. A little compromise, if you will. Also shows, I guess you can store the weapons on the back. I don't know why that's so important that it made the box, but there we have it. So I'm excited. I'm going to go ahead, get him out of the packaging here, and we're going to take a closer look. So honestly, just wow. This guy is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, he has a ridiculously clean robot mode. You wouldn't even know what he transforms into if you didn't barely see these little tank treads here on the back of his legs. I mean, this is just an amazing figure. And to think that you can just buy this for 50 bucks, it's not a crazy masterpiece or anything like that, I'm really impressed. This is definitely the best Megatron that we've probably ever seen. Like, in anticipation of getting this, I knew it was coming in the mail. I took my Siege Megatron off the shelf and I was like, don't need you anymore. And I looked at it. I hadn't really looked at it in a while. And then I thought to what I know this to look like. And I just thought, it's like night and day. It's not even the same character almost. It's crazy to me how perfect this is. It looks like it came right out of the screen. I mean, it's just so good. It's really, really good. Anyway, let's not sit here and gush all day. We'll start with the head sculpt. Really nailed it. I mean, that looks phenomenal. The red paint for the eyes, the expression, that crazy angry monobrow, 100% perfect. The helmet looks great. Really nice Decepticon symbol here on the chest. I'm glad that they outlined it in silver. Probably could have got away with just purple since it's on such a light colored surface, but I'm still glad they did the silver. It looks amazing. All of the paint down here in his abdomen looks great. You have a little bit of red there in the elbow joints, and then you can see some more here on the sides of the abdomen. You have this gunmetal gray plastic used here for the waist. And I will say, I'm glad in person, this gray is definitely darker than I thought it was. On a lot of the pictures, and I guess people's camera lighting or whatnot, this was almost showing up as like a bluish gray to me. And I thought that was a little weird, but in person, it's definitely not quite like a gunmetal gray. Like, I think they could have done the same color as the waist, and I don't know why they didn't just do that. I guess they were trying to match more the cartoon, which it still looks good, don't get me wrong. But yeah, it's definitely a darker gray. There's still like a little bit of blue to it, but I feel like in the pictures I saw online, it looked a lot lighter, and so I'm glad that that's not really the case. So, of course, we have the Fusion Cannon. Has that little pop of red paint there. This just pegs onto the forearm very simply. Not really much to this, but it does look good. Like I said, right out of the cartoon. They crushed that. You even have the little barrel here on the shoulder to complete his look. I really appreciate that as well. And that's just the simple little piece that just pegs in. And it has a little peg here that you can move around. And you can move it back the other way as well. So if you prefer, I feel like on the cartoon, this part was always kind of facing forward. But if you want that on the back, if that's what you prefer, you can bend it the other way as well. So it is up to you. But those are his main accessories. Of course, we also have a little version of Megatron himself, so that some of the other characters can hold him. And we'll get more into that a little bit later on. But it's very simple. Just have some light gray, and then you have some dark kind of metallic gunmetal gray paint there. Little Decepticon symbol. So that's probably what the Decepticon symbol on his chest would have looked like if they didn't outline it in silver. So like I said, still good, still works, but I am glad that they decided to give it the silver up here. But yeah, little version of Megatron, looks cool. Of course, he also has this sword that he uses for like 2 seconds in the movie, you know, to wound Optimus. So you can recreate that by popping this in the hands. So I will go ahead and open this up. He does have articulated fingers that we'll take a closer look at later on. And you just pop this in here. Should click into place, and then you can close it up. And he's ready to go. The force is strong with this one. So we'll go ahead and pop this back out. Oh, goodness. Wow. That wasn't good. I think I was popping it out of the ball joint. These are really snug. This is really snug. Yeah, I broke that. That's okay, I can fix it. That doesn't look good. You're going to want to get that looked at. In any case, here is the lightsaber accessory. And it has a little peg here so that if you want to peg it onto the back, you absolutely can. And the smaller version of Megatron, you can see how it has the little... You can peg that in this little slot here. Now, I don't know why you would want a smaller version of yourself pegged onto your own back, but you can, and then it'll still allow you to have the other piece there for the gun barrel look. So, let me go ahead and fix that hand. Well, I'll just show you. I'll show you what happens. So, you open this up, and you can see it just popped out of the ball joint. So, it looks a lot worse than it is, but you can see he's got the ball joint there. And so, you just pop this back in. Very nice and simple, and then I can close this back up. And we're good to go. So, it's just, I don't know why, those accessories are very tight. You can see how they kind of snap in there. So, I would say if you really make sure you want to pose him with that accessory, because for whatever reason, like the gun's not as big of a deal because you can kind of feed it in from the top. And then it's very simple to just pop in and out. But because this has, you know, the hilt and the piece up here, you have to kind of snap it in, and then you have to kind of really be careful to kind of pull it straight back out. But as you saw, I can pop the hand back in the ball joint, and it's fine. So, all right, articulation-wise, we have a ball joint for the head. You can look up slightly, look down slightly, tilt side to side slightly, but of course you can look side to side, no problem. You have a hinge, which is kind of nice. These pieces on the shoulder don't get in the way. They can go all the way out to the side. Of course, you can rotate as well. He does have some butterfly joint movement there, and you'll see that a little bit later on. There's a whole joint in there, so there's a lot of range of movement in there. But bicep swivel, 90 degrees, maybe slightly over 90 degrees there at the elbow. You saw how the hand works with that ball joint inside, but he's also got articulated fingers. So you can see that there is a joint right there, and then another one right there. And then he's got kind of the pointer finger as a separate one, and then the other fingers are all together. So you bend it once, and then bend it once again. I always have trouble with these because they're so tiny, but there you go. You could have him pointing. So, waist, nice waist swivel there. You can move the side skirts out to the side, kick so far out to the side, all the way forward, even above 90 degrees. You can kick back. He's doing a wind up. He's really going to crush it. Boom. You got a thigh swivel there. You got nice 90 degree bend in the knee. And then you got your ankle tilt, pretty much 90. And you should have a little bit, well, that's not supposed to come apart. You can move it front to back as well and move this all around. It's mostly for the transformation, but you can certainly utilize it in robot mode. No problem. So, yeah, he's got great articulation. Really looks sharp. Paint applications are amazing. I just can't get over how clean the robot mode is. Like, this turns into a tank, and you'd never know it, with the exception of, like, these little bits here on the back of the leg. But just looking at him straight on is beautiful. So the transformation is honestly really cool. I can't believe, like I said, I still can't believe this turns into a tank. But we're going to start off with the hands. We're going to pop open these panels, and there's a panel on both sides that's going to open up. We're going to fold that hand into the center there. Then you're actually going to spin this whole piece around 180, and then you're going to close it back up. And it's nice because there are tabs on the inside right there and spots for them to line up. So that keeps it nice and clean. So we're going to come over here and do the exact same thing. Pop this open, hand goes in, spin, and then close it back up, lining up the tabs and everything. Then what you're going to want to do is kind of rock out the butterfly joint. So you have to kind of like bring this forward, and then that'll kind of allow you to like kick this out. It's kind of weird the way it's done, and honestly you don't have to do it this way if you don't want to. You could just wait until you open everything else up, which maybe I'll just show you how that works as well. So you can just kind of open this up. This section here on the front will pop down, and that kind of unlocks the whole torso area, and then that will allow you to open this up. And then at that point you could kind of just kick this out. I don't know, it's kind of annoyingly weird the way you have to kind of like clear this stuff. But you can see the joint here, so you can see the double butterfly there. So there you go. Once you get it out, it's just kind of a pain. I don't know. It's the part I hate the most about the transformation, honestly. There we go. Okay, then once you have those out, this whole thing can kick out, and then this whole thing will kick out again. The head will rotate inside and kind of line up, and then you can see that there's a big spot right there which is going to tab on there. So then you close this up. There's a second little piece here that's going to flip out of the abdomen like that. You can just kind of leave this like this for now. You're going to bring these up so that you can rotate this whole piece around 180. And then what you want to do is, you can see how there's kind of these divots here. So you need to bring this around and move the arm out of the way. So what you need to do is bring this down, and I'm going to do it off camera because it takes forever. But this will sit in here. Focus, there we go. This will sit in this divot. This will be in an L shape like this, and then this tab here is going to tab into one on this side. So I'm going to do it real quick, and then I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so I have this all in. It really takes a while just because all these individual joints are really tight, and so I have to kind of really push it down. But you can see how these pieces are now kind of resting in that divot. These have made like an L shape and have pegged together. And then at that point, you also want to rotate the hands a little bit so that these are facing up. These little tabs on the inside of the forearms have to be facing inward. So you just kind of rotate at that bicep swivel. Very simple to do. So at this point, you can see that this keeps wanting to pop off, and it's good because we want it to. So what's going to happen is we're going to rotate the whole waist 180 degrees. And then we are going to straighten this out. Hold on, how do I do? Yeah, this is right. So this is actually kind of neat. We're going to put the skirt pieces up like this. We are going to slide them in like that. And then you can see that there's a tab here on the back of the thigh that is going to tab into the skirt piece. So this is going to come up and tab in like that, and do the same for this leg, like so. Now, you can see that there's a tiny little spot right there. This is going to come all the way up. You're going to utilize this ab piece, this hinge right here, to bring this all the way up and over, and then that will tab in right there. So you can see there was a kind of a hidden wheel inside his tummy, which is going to be helpful for the tank mode, which is really cool. Now we're going to get to the legs. This is kind of wild, honestly. I think this is really, really neat how this works. So you're going to lift the feet up. The whole shin is going to pop up and just hang out, okay? These are going to pop out to the side. The entire tank facade is packed into this section here. It's wild. So this is going to unpeg down here and just kind of hang out. And then this is going to flip all the way open. You're going to flip open each part of the leg. So this opens and this piece flips out. Close it back up. This piece will open. This piece flips out. Close it back up. Then you're going to bring this piece up and around to fill the center. And that is the entire side of the tank, just hidden in his calf. That's so insane. So then you're going to bring this in. You can see that there's a large, maybe you can't see, there's a large tab right there and a smaller tab right there. That's going to tab in. It's casting a lot of shadow. It's going to tab in right there. And then these tiny little spots up in the front will tab in to these little spots here on the chest. So you're going to bring this in. This is going to tab in. And it takes a little bit of finesse to like line everything up, but it will work out. You'll line it all up. And there you go. That is one whole side of the tank done. Come back over here, do the same thing again, pop this open. This will all pop open like that. I just think it's wild how they were able to do this. Like all the pieces just flip out. They all hide so well. This comes up. There we go. And then we peg in our tank. So this goes in here and here and here and here. There we go. Okay, so that is the majority of the tank. Now, I'll be honest, this next part I kind of find to be a little difficult. So these fold down like this, and then you have to like slide these up and under this piece, and it's really kind of a pain, and it's probably going to take me a minute to do. Again, I think I'm going to do it off camera, but you have to slide this up, and like this is going to go underneath this piece. So I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done. So it's actually a lot easier the second time. You can kind of lift this up a little bit and then slide this in, but there's like a little tab on the back of this piece that you want to make sure actually tabs into the top. Like it's basically right here, but on the other side because this is closed off here. So then you can get that done. You can come down here and you can see that there's a little tab right there. And I think there's a tab, maybe it's not that one actually. You're going to stretch these out. You're going to flip these around. Yes, here we go. So it's these tabs right here are going to tab into these spots right there. So bring that down and tab that in. Bring this down and tab that in. And it can be a little finicky. If it doesn't tab in all the way, honestly, it doesn't make a difference, to be quite honest with you. It's just to kind of line it up and keep it, you know, if this just hangs down here, it's not going to stop anything. And then you're going to just fold the other part of the toe in. So yeah, so if that were to come untabbed or you didn't feel like messing with it, it would just hang a little freely here in the back. It's not that big a deal. But there is your tank. So we're going to bring in the giant gun. This little section on the back here is going to pop down and collapse under here, leaving a little cutout, which is perfectly for this. So, and then you can see those two tabs I talked about are going to tab into the sides. So you just kind of pull this apart just enough, and then you can put that together, and there you go. Now, if you want, you can leave it like that if you like a shorter barrel tank, but what you're supposed to do is take this and peg it into the end. And then all said and done, there is Megatron in our tank mode. I'll be honest, I think it looks kind of cool. I think it's a little drab in this mode. I mean, it's definitely a gray tank, and you have that little bit of the darker gray here in the back. I don't know. I don't know why these colors work so well for his robot mode, and he looks so amazing, but then in the tank mode, it just seems a little drab. I mean, it's fine. It's a tank. It's a good-looking tank mode. I mean, it even rolls pretty well. Like I said, he had the secret wheel in his abdomen, and then you've got two back here that were on the back of the legs. So, I mean, it rolls well. The turret can spin all the way around. You can't really do up and down too much. But, yeah, I mean, it's a decent-looking tank. I have no problem with it. Now, of course, everyone wishes he could transform into the gun. I understand nostalgia and all that, but in today's world, it just doesn't make sense. So I get all that. I don't blame them at all. And just the fact that you can take what we saw as the robot mode and turn it into this, I think is a fantastic feat of engineering. And it's a good-looking tank mode. I mean, honestly, I think it's fine. I have no problems with it. The fact that the entire facade of the tank, the side of the tank here, compresses into just his calf is insane to me. Like, that is amazing. I can't get over how they do that. It's so neat. It's a really fun transformation, and I love it so much just for that part alone. I mean, honestly, the transformation is not that difficult. It's kind of like flip up the chest a little bit, flip out the whole legs, and there you go. So it's not that difficult. Rolls well. Yeah, it's cool. I mean, I'll be honest with you. When I think of Megatron, 9 times out of 10, he's going to be in robot mode, and then he's going to transform into this, and one of the other characters is going to hold it. I'm probably not going to mess with the tank mode too much. I will be honest. I'm probably not going to. But it's there. I'll always have it. I like it. The transformation was fun. But the robot mode is just so good that he's probably just going to be on my shelf in robot mode all the time. But this is a pretty dang good vehicle mode to give us, because it can't be what he actually turned into in the movie. But pretty impressive. And of course, we can't finish off the review without a shot of him side by side with the Studio Series 86 Commander Class Optimus Prime. Easily the best version of both of these characters right here. I mean, I can't believe that these aren't masterpiece figures. Now, affordable seems like a weird word to use, but at the same time, compared to masterpiece figures, they're certainly more affordable. And they're just both amazing. Like, honestly, these are two really perfect figures. Look perfectly right out of the cartoon. I'm so happy to have them here. They scale very well. I do feel like Megatron's a little bit taller than Optimus, but I'm sure I could have them slouch a little bit. They're pretty much in scale with each other. If we put them back to back, I mean, it's very close. Like, the top of his shoulder torso area is just slightly above Optimus's. So really nicely scaled. They look great together, and easily the best versions of each of these characters. Not talking masterpiece, but I'll be honest with you, I think this is better. I've seen some of the Masterpiece Megatron stuff. The very first one's easily better than that, but the more recent one, which was a pretty good figure, and that, of course, that have the alt mode that everyone would want. But this is so much easier to handle and so much more affordable than the Masterpiece, especially now in the secondary market, and it just looks so good. Like, I think for your money, these are the best two you can get. I absolutely love this figure. I'm so glad I got it. I just got in from Amazon, by the way, in case anyone's wondering where it came from. Amazon, I guess, randomly got them in stock, or I'm assuming they'll start showing up in stores as well pretty soon. But yeah, he's a fantastic figure. I really don't have anything to complain about, really. The robot mode is perfect. The aesthetic is amazing. The paint applications, the articulation, the head sculpt, the color scheme, just how ridiculously clean his robot mode is. I still can't get over it. The fact that you can look at this and someone tells you it turns into a tank, you're like, how, where are the tank pieces? It's crazy to me. Like, they did such a good job. I'll be honest, I am probably just going to leave it in robot mode forever because it looks that good, but the transformation's always there, and it's fun, honestly. Like I said, the fact that 90% of the tank facade is compressed into this area right here is pretty remarkable, and for that reason alone, I had a lot of fun transforming it back and forth. So every once in a while the tank might make an appearance, but just for the money, best Megatron figure I think I've ever handled. Looks good, fun transformation. Now, one or two steps of the transformation, like trying to get those shoulder pads out of there with that butterfly joint, can be a little annoying, but in the grand scheme of things, that's grasping at straws for some kind of complaint, because this guy's just pretty close to perfect. Yeah, like I said, I really can't think of too many things to complain about this guy. I mean, at most, one or two of the transformation steps is a little annoying. That's the best I can come up with. He's pretty perfect. Definitely check him out if you can. I recommend him wholeheartedly. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And as always, thank you so much for watching.